I'm on live, so don't come in here. Hey guys. Hey, Cam, Carolyn, Sabrina, Tracy, Ashley, Kim, Kevin, Ayada, Regina, Ashley, MG. How are you guys doing? Y'all ready for this live reading? I'm gonna let everyone file on in. Love you too, Alicia. Hope I said your name correctly. Happy you made it, Becky. Hope you enjoy your food, Rachel. You're welcome, MG. So I'm going to let some more people file in and then we'll get this party started. I do have a surprise for you guys. I'm not only going to read chapter 2, I'm going to read chapter 5 as well. So can't say I don't do anything for you guys. Adele, you better go to bed, girl. This video will be up. You can watch it later. Nope, Jasmine, not on IG. Y'all need to learn how to read. So happy you're excited, cause that all right. Yeah, you're gonna need some wine, girl. So hurry up and go run and get it. Hey, Jamia. Go, go, go. Why was I trying to learn the renegade dance yesterday? I actually looked up a how-to video on how to do the dance. I am so fucking old. I'm gonna learn it though, and I'm gonna go live and do it. Ooh, Jesus, I'm ignorant. Thank you, Tamisha. Also, make sure y'all follow me on IG, Renegade Dance. Because I post, teasers on there, music from the book, outfits, settings for different scenes, things that I want y'all to see to remember later for when y'all reading. So make sure y'all follow me on Instagram. I have 3 different Instagram pages, but the one that I post book content on and teasers is my Keisha Irvin one. The information will be down below. And make sure y'all check it every day because I drop stuff pretty much every day. Drop some stuff today as a matter of fact. All right, let's get cracking. So for those of you who haven't heard the live reading from for chapter 1 for Cam and Gray's final book, it's already up on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out after you watch this video. But today I'll be doing a live reading from chapter 2 and chapter 5 because I'm going to be honest with you guys, the book is nowhere near done. So you can stop saying I'll be happy when the book drops because it ain't ready. It just ain't ready, and I'm not going to rush it neither. This book is highly anticipated. I'm not going to put it out until it's 100% where I need it to be. So that's why I decided to do a reading from the book today and read 2 chapters to you guys, something to tide you all over until it does drop. As you all know, with this book, I'm not releasing the title name I don't ever release the covers until the book drops. There's no synopsis. So I want the whole rollout to be a surprise to you guys. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not showing you guys as far as the rollout on IG. So a lot of stuff that you'll read in the book will be a surprise. So I'm excited for you guys to read the full thing. But this is chapter 2 and chapter 5. Some of you have already heard chapter 5 because I went live a few weeks back, maybe about a month ago, and read chapter 5, but it was only on Instagram, so a lot of you did not hear it. So I'll be reading it again for those of you who did not get a chance to hear chapter 5. But let's get into chapter 2. Also, before I start chapter 2, I have another book that's dropping this year called On God. On God will be out very, very soon. It is a book where I give you all a full, detailed insight on how I became a published author, all the things that you will need to know about the business so you won't get played. It's very in-depth, it's candid, it's funny. It's not your typical how-to book the way we're doing it. So be looking out for On God. I'm so excited about it. I'm writing it with a really good friend of mine, Sheridan Davis. So get ready for that book as well this year. So yeah. All right, let's get crack-a-lacking on the story. Let me take a sip of water. All right. Oops, didn't mean to do that. All right, so chapter 2, you know I do song lyrics that give you kind of like a clue of what's going to be happening in that chapter. So the song lyric for chapter 2 is I'd Rather You Choose Me. It's a song by James Blake, and the song is called Choose Me. All right. All right. By the time Gray made it back to her Airbnb, streams of sunlight slipped through the trees, filling up space between the branches with golden light. The sky had transitioned from a blush pink to a pristine shade of light blue. Threads of white clouds lined the heavens. They were so thin they appeared to be brushstrokes from Leonardo da Vinci on blue canvas. It was a perfect dawn, one to be treasured instead of squandered. Gray's body was exhausted. She hadn't slept a wink since she and Cam made love until the wee hours of the morning the night before. She needed rest and sustenance, but her mind wouldn't allow her to crash. She had to keep going. Cam needed her. When she left the hospital, Mo and Cam Sr. was by his side. Gray would have still been there, but she had to get out of the stupid, bloody bridesmaid's dress she wore. It was starting to feel like Cam's plasma was seeping into her pores. Miss Rose, I heard about the stabbing on the news. Melody, her assistant, came rushing towards her. Are the kid's father all right? Grace stopped dead in her tracks. Cam slumped on the ground, laying lifeless in her arms as blood poured from his abdomen flashed before her eyes. No, he's not all right. He's in a coma. She swallowed down as much spit as she could to coat her dry throat. It was the first time she said the word coma out loud. My God, Melody gasped, clutching her hand over her mouth. I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do for you? Gray replied in a daze. She couldn't get the visual of Cam out of her brain. I need you to book a flight back to Paris and pack up me and the kids' things. I need our clothes, underwear, shoes, toiletries, everything shipped immediately. We'll be here for an undetermined amount of time. Gray rushed past her. Oh, she paused mid-stride. And I need you to get Kilo and Graham from the kennel and personally bring them here. Yes, ma'am, I'm right on it. Thanks, Mel. Gray resumed walking. Noon straggled behind her in his tux as she stepped over Rain's toy fire truck that lay in the middle of the floor. Like a lost puppy, he removed his tuxedo jacket and followed her up the stairs. They had barely spoken 2 words to each other since he arrived at the hospital. He was trying to be patient and understanding of the situation she'd been placed in. The father of her children might die at any moment, but with each second, minute, and hour that went by, do that over. I lost my place. Sorry. The father of her children might die at any moment, but with each second, minute, and hour that went by, he lost more and more of his resolve. He needed to know where her head was, where they stood. Gray acted like the sight of him burned her eyes. It broke his heart to see they'd ended up in such an awful space. He used to be the man that made her smile. They were happy in Paris. Now things had changed for the absolute worst. 1,000,001 thoughts ran through Gray's mind as she scoured the master bedroom. She needed to shower, scrub Cam's blood from underneath her nails, change clothes, and prepare bags of clothes and toiletries for each of the children. Until Cam awoke from his coma, Gray would be staying at the hospital with him. She couldn't see herself being anywhere else. There would be no returning to Paris. Cam's hospital room would become her new home. The kids would be taken care of by Kima and Quan. Mo wanted to keep them, but 8 kids under one roof would be a madhouse. Gray wouldn't put that type of stress on her worst enemy. TT even offered his assistance, but he traveled a lot for work. And I said 8 kids for a reason, so I know how many kids Mo and Boss got. Gray looked down at her ripped, blood-stained dress again. The sight of it made her skin crawl. She didn't want the reminder of what Pastor Idris had done to the love of her life on her body. She needed to free herself of the horrific memory. A steaming hot shower was calling her name, but her mind told her to pack the kids' bags first, so she made an abrupt turn and headed to the triplets' room. Noon tried to follow her footsteps, but found it difficult to keep up. Gray was moving around like a chicken with his head cut off. She hadn't stopped moving since she entered the house. Under her breath, she mumbled off a list of things she needed to do as she yanked down the triplet suitcase frantically one by one. Noon leaned against the door frame with his ankle crossed over the other, watching Gray's every move. A muscle twitched involuntarily at the corner of his left eye. His mouth formed a stern scowl. With arms folded firmly across his broad chest, he angrily watched the woman he'd fallen madly in love with kill herself with worry. It was a sad sight to see her in such a frenzied state. For so long, he'd watched her be everything for everyone. Gray was a giver and a caretaker, but it was his job to make her life as stress-free as possible. He'd been killing it as her lover, protector, and provider. Their life was perfect. He should have never let her return to St. Louis alone. As soon as she was back in Cam's presence, she fell under his spell and her life went to shit all over again. Noon wanted to shake some sense into her. For some idiotic reason, Gray thought it was her responsibility to nurse her ex back to health. As far as he was concerned, she didn't owe Cam a damn thing. He'd done this to himself. Now he had to suffer the consequences. You need any help? No, Gray answered distractedly. Her face was rigid with tension. It seemed like she'd aged 1,000,000 years in just a few hours. Biting her bottom lip, she tried her best to concentrate on the task at hand. There was so much that needed to be done in such a short amount of time. She didn't have time to pacify Noon sulking in the corner. Cam was stuck in a coma fighting for his life. Every second she wasn't by his side was like dying a slow death on her own. Gray's entire being was riddled with anxiety. She felt like one big ball of stress. If she slowed down, she'd lose her mind. She was sure of it. Gray would have a full-blown meltdown, and falling into a depression was not on the menu. She had to be strong for Cam, Aoki, Press, Rain, Bo, and Sky. If she succumbed to darkness, it would be a domino effect. Their whole family would suffer. They suffered enough. Now it was time to fight. Why don't you let me do that and you go take a shower? Noon walked over and took one of Sky's nightgowns out of Gray's hand. I said I got it, she snapped, snatching it back. Gray's entire body shook with grief. She didn't want him touching her baby's things. Not now, not ever. Noon even being in her baby's room was a slap in the face to their father. Stunned by her reaction, he took 2 steps back and held his hands up. Gray had a wild, unhinged look in her ocean blue eyes. Her tone was abrupt and cutting. How had they gotten here? She used to adore him. Now he become public enemy number 1. I'm just trying to help, he spoke softly. I don't want your help. She brushed her hair off her face. I told you that at the hospital, but you just insisted on driving me home. She rolled her eyes and resumed pulling out the triplets' clothes. You've been through a lot. What kind of man would I be if I let you take an Uber home after everything you've been through? I know you're in a precarious predicament right now, but I love you, Gray. It's my job to protect you. No, it's not. Not anymore, she quipped harshly. Noon's heart skipped a beat. His mouth became as dry as the Namib desert. She couldn't possibly be saying what he thought she was saying. It would kill him. What does that mean? His deep voice cracked. Grace stopped coordinating outfits, closed her eyes, and drew her head back in despair. She had to check herself. Noon didn't deserve her wrath, but this was not a conversation she wanted to have. She could barely breathe, let alone talk. All she wanted to do was get back to Cam and lay her head upon his lap. If they were skin to skin, she was sure he'd awake. Their connection was that strong. Gray was certain of it. She bet her life. Cam almost losing his life confirmed what she'd known all along. There was no other man on the planet for her. Noon had tried to fill his shoes, and Gray had almost tricked herself into believing he had. But she would be lying if she kept on pretending that she was 100% fulfilled in their relationship. Noon was a good guy. He'd come into her life at a time where she wanted to give love another chance. On paper, he fit the criteria of what she wanted in a man. He was undeniably handsome, extremely successful, cultured, accepted her children, driven, supportive, affectionate, faithful, and loving. In a short amount of time, he'd attempted to give her the world. He wined and dined her like no other, but there was always something missing. Noon could never penetrate the part of her heart that Cam felt left vacant. That should have been a sign that they would never work. It took Gray 3 years and one look into Cam's whiskey brown eyes to realize that she never truly stopped loving him. It was then she accepted that she deserted someone who loved her despite her many flaws because of fear. Fear had fucked up plenty of relationships. It was an extremely influential influence. Fear was also a disguised demon. She wouldn't be ruled by it any longer. She wanted her man back. Her family deserved to be whole. There would be no more living a lie. Gray unsealed her eyes and regrettably gazed over at Noon. The sad expression on his face almost crushed her. Her soul broke for him. For what she was about to do, he didn't deserve. He'd been nothing but good to her, but the heart wants what the heart wants. Sadly, her heart didn't want him. To be honest, it never did. Swallowing the lump in her throat, she parted her lips to speak. The words she was about to utter would be like sharp blades to Noon's heart. Her actions would appear venomous. Combined, it would be a vicious massacre of a loving heart. Noon was a beautiful person. He would make someone a great husband one day, but nothing, absolutely nothing compared to Cam. I can't do this anymore. What? This. Us. She pointed back and forth between them. What changed in a week? Everything, she quaked. I know I told you that I was done with Cam and that I wanted a divorce. I tried to make myself believe that I was done and moving on, but none of it was true. I love him. I always have. I always will. She whispered as his stomach contracted. Gray's words hit Noon hard. Her words were like nails being hammered into his heart. She said she loved him and he believed her. She said he was her new beginning. Now under a sunny sky, she announces that she's in love with someone else, a man that disrespected her every chance he got according to her. Noon balled his fist. It would have been kinder to kill him. So you telling me that the love you had for me just disappeared? I care for you, Noon. Care? He screwed up his face and looked at her like she had two heads instead of one. I do, but I can't go on pretending like Cam isn't the man I'm in love with. I should have been honest and said this a long time ago, and for that, I'm sorry. I should have never dragged you into my mess. Noon's nostrils flared. He wasn't going to allow her to paint herself as this martyr. She was the one ripping his heart into shreds. You so fucking full of shit, Gray. You don't know what the fuck you want. Gray paused before responding. She was trying her hardest to rein in her anger and not spaz out on Noon's ass. I know this is hard for you to hear, but I've never been as sure of anything in my life. So let me get this straight. Noon scoffed, massaging his forehead. This nigga cheated on you, lied to you repeatedly, said your kids wasn't his, told you to stick a hanger up your coochie, and went to jail for distributing drugs, and this is the motherfucker you choose? You sound stupid as hell. Gray couldn't do anything but chuckle. You're right. I do sound stupid. I have done everything for you. I was the one there for you and your kids when you ain't have nobody. And I'll be forever grateful for that. Grateful my ass. I would have done anything for you. I was willing to make Paris my permanent home for you. That's how much I loved you. I wanted to be the very best for you. I was the very best for you. But my best wasn't enough to satisfy you, was it? You don't want a man that's going to treat you like a queen. You just like all these other bird brain bitches out here that want a nigga that's going to treat them bad. Noon shot at her a look of disgust. Where was that nigga at when you were in Paris raising 5 kids alone, behind bars, trying not to drop the soap? I was there. Me, he jabbed his finger into his chest. I know you got daddy's issues, but damn, you can't be that fucking dumb, Gray. Are you that broken that you would choose a cheating ass nigga with criminal aspirations over an educated man like myself? Do you know who the fuck I am? I know exactly who you are, Christophe Laurent, portfolio manager for the largest hedge fund company in the world. Gray ambled over and stood toe to toe. You've dated some of the baddest women on the planet, from Mariah Carey to Jordan Dunn. A girl like me should only be so lucky to have you, right? She smirked. You know it ain't even like that. No one tried to correct her. No, I know exactly how you meant it. But let's be clear. I know Cam hasn't been the best husband. He has hurt me more times than I care to remember. Sometimes he doesn't treat me right. He may not work up for a Fortune 500 company. And if I were sane, I would throw in the towel and forget all about him and be with you. I mean, on paper, you're the perfect man. You're what every woman prays for. You're smart. You're funny. You're fine as hell. Rich as shit. Beyond generous. You spoil me and my kids. Hell, you even got good dick. But guess what? Her eyes turned the shade of Molson Blue. Even with all those great characteristics, you still don't measure up to my husband. He's my soulmate. He brings me back to life when I need resuscitation. When the devil is tempting me on my left shoulder, he's the angel on my right, leading me in the right direction. No one is ever going to love me like him. And there ain't a bitch breathing in this world that's going to love me like him, love him like me. We were made to love each other. I was made to be his wife. Now, I know that's a hard pill for you to swallow. I just don't understand. Gray cut him off. Maybe it's not for you to understand. When you love somebody the way Cam and I love each other, the shit is unexplainable. It can't be boxed in or defined. It just is. Noon ran his hands down his face. He was depleted of all energy. His mind was telling him to accept defeat and bow out gracefully, but he'd never been the kind of man to give up when he faced a challenge. Gray was a good woman. Any man would be lucky to have her. He'd be damned if he lost her to some common street thug. He loved Gray, and he knew deep down she still loved him too. Emotions were heightened because of the circumstances. Gray wasn't in her right mind. She was stressed out and emotional. When things died down, she'd be able to think clearly. She'd see that Cam was still the no good nigga she painted him out to be. He'd disappoint her once again, and he'd be right there to pick up the pieces like before. Until then, he would fall back and let her do her thing. Listen, a lot has transpired over the last 24 hours. You're tired. You're not thinking straight. So what I'm going to do is give you time to get some rest and pull yourself together. No. Shh. He held her by each of her arms to quiet her down. We don't need to make any decisions we might regret later. This is a difficult time for you. I was wrong for putting so much pressure on you. You have a lot going on right now. It's probably best that you focus on the kids and handle the situation with your baby father. I'm going to head back to New York and give you the space you obviously need, but that in no way means that I have given up on you, on us. We're good together, Gray. You just need time to remember that. He placed a soft, loving kiss on her forehead. Gray closed her eyes and let out a long sigh. She wanted to object, but she couldn't find the strength to fight another second. Noon could live in whatever fantasy land he wanted to. Her mind wasn't changing. Cam was a man for her, and the quicker she made it back to the hospital, she could start Operation Loving Her Soulmate Back to Life. And that's chapter 2. What you think? Yay! I'm happy you guys loved it. It makes me so happy. I hope Cam do make a child. Because it is a lot going on. He crazy if he thinks she was playing with him. Fuck Noon, love it. Noon going to be a problem. I need more. Let's go. My heart is pounding. Loved it. Gray ain't playing. She sure is not. He is delusional. Noon would be a crazy also. Gray, go get your man. Yes, ma'am. He better. Noon ain't letting her go at all. And Melody seemed like a snake. No, Melody is nobody for you to be worried about. Who the fuck is Noon? I don't trust Noon. Noon is going to be a problem. I'm happy you guys loved it. Yay! I'm low-key debating, should I read chapter 3 or should I not read chapter 3 and just read y'all chapter 5? Or should I read y'all chapter 3? Tasia, one of my readers, said I should read y'all chapter 3. But chapter 3 is a doozy. Chapter 3 it's good to be hype about your own work, but chapter 3 is pretty fucking good. When I tell y'all I'm not playing with y'all, I'm not fucking playing. I'm not fucking playing. It's go time. Do it, do it, do it. Renegade, renegade. Okay, I'll read y'all chapter 3 and I'm gonna read chapter 5, and then y'all not getting nothing else from this goddamn book. Y'all have to wait till it fucking come out. All right, so I'll read y'all chapter 3 and chapter 5. All right, so chapter 3. Chapter 3's song lyric is I leave heaven to bat for you, take on the devil. Matter of fact, sit back, because I got this battle. Jamie Woods, I got you, is the song. All right, y'all ready? I don't think y'all ready. Y'all not ready. Y'all ready? I don't think you're ready, but y'all say y'all ready. All right, so chapter 3. Noon's kiss goodbye still lingered on the skin of Gray's forehead as she held the divorce decree in her hand and ripped it in half. Did y'all hear what I said? Let me run that back. Rewind. Noon's kiss goodbye still lingered on the skin of Gray's forehead as she held the divorce decree in her hand and ripped it in half. Yes, Cam had signed it before the attack, but she knew he'd only agreed to the dissolution of their marriage because that's what she led him to believe she wanted. When she returned to St. Louis, she was dead set on ending things, but the dance at the reception changed everything. No matter how much shit she and Cam took each other through, they were each other's soulmate. Their bond was eternal. Cam was the only man who had enough access to her heart to break it. Thank you, Tracy. Despite his many shortcomings, he was perfectly made for her. He lifted her heart when the rest of her was down. Nothing could change the love she had for him. He made her want to be a better person, to be good enough. She refused to let go of him. Piece by piece, she ripped the divorce papers into shreds. Once she was finished, she dumped the bits into the trash can. She and Cam wouldn't be getting divorced that day or any other day. Letting out a sigh of relief, she picked up each of the kids' suitcases and placed them by the door. Melody would drop them off at Kima and Kwan's house before she headed to the airport to board her flight to Paris. Noon had long gone. After his searing kiss goodbye, Gray was now dressed and ready to go back to the hospital. Her hair was freshly shampooed and her voluptuous body smelled of Joe Malone, lime basil, and mandarin body wash. The blood that marked her arms, nails, and legs was washed away. Natural black curls framed her weary face. Casually and comfortably dressed in a black knit cardigan, layered gold coin necklaces, much like this. A white cami, blue jeans, booty shorts, Nike socks, and orange, white, and black Air Jordan 1 mid-retro sneakers. She welcomed a warm, sympathetic hug goodbye from Melody, then stepped outdoors. The bright sun blinded her eyes as she walked down the walkway to her electric blue Mercedes-Benz G-Class. The only problem was, y'all ready? The only problem was she wouldn't be able to back out because she'd been blocked in by a blacked out Rolls Royce Phantom. Who y'all think it is? Who y'all think blocked her in? Who y'all think it is? Who y'all think it is? Tell me who y'all think it is. Who y'all think blocked her in? Guns, guns, Victor, guns. Guns, Victor, bitch, Victor, Victor, guns, Victor, Noon, Victor, 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 guns, grimy ass. All right, let's see who it is. Okay. A 6'9", 400-pound midnight nigga dressed in a two-piece suit and tie stood by the back passenger side door with a scowl on his face. Gray stopped abruptly, turned on her heels, and broke out into a run. whoever was behind Pastor Idris attacking Cam was now after her. She was pretty sure it was Guns who ordered the hit. Gray had never hated a human being more. She normally didn't wish death on anyone, but she wanted him dead ASAP. She didn't even hate Truth as much as she hated Guns, and he raped her and tried to kill her. Instead of letting her emotions take control, she should have let Noon stay until she was safely back at the hospital amongst security. And no, Noon wasn't a gangster or a killer, but he was a man that would protect her at all costs. Gray was out here lone wolfing it without Cam. Sure, Quan, Stacy, Priest would have her back, but at that moment she was prey, ready to be eaten alive. Making a run for it, she was halfway back up the walkway when she heard a man shout her name, Gray. Immediately recognizing the voice, she spun around. Victor sat in the back of the Phantom with the window down, reading the morning newspaper. You would think after she realized it was a familiar face pulling up on her, she'd calm down, but Gray's heart pounded even faster. Nausea overtook her stomach. Her throat felt constricted as if she was being strangled by the air surrounding her. Mr. Gonzalez would like to offer you a ride, Victor's goon said, more as a statement and not a request. She hadn't even responded, and he'd already opened the back door. Panic consumed every cell in her body. Gray scanned the area in search of a place to escape, but found none. Stuck, she practically felt the rise of her blood pressure, but she knew this was the least of her worries. Death was knocking at her door. She could either try to make a run for it and get shot in the back or oblige Victor's request. No part of her wanted to be near him. She detested the sight of him, but Gray had to put her ill feelings aside and survive so she could get back to Cam. Inhaling breath into her lungs, she clenched her teeth and begrudgingly headed to the car. The giant chauffeur / shooter held the door open for her. Gray threw her purse down onto the plush leather seat and sat as close to the door as possible. Seconds later, the rolls back out of the driveway and their ride began. The destination was unknown. Grace said a silent prayer to God that she survived. No part of her wanted to look at Victor, but she needed to ensure that he didn't have any visible weapons on his person. Gazing at him out of the corner of her eye, she peeped that he donned a white and gray checkerboard button-up, a gray slim-fit three-piece pinstripe suit, and black Christian Louboutin lace-up leather dress shoes. A white rose was pinned to his lapel. His gold commission signet ring shined from his pinky finger. She didn't see any weapon, but Victor was a crafty nigga. He could attack. His full lips and silky beard would make any woman's panties moist. Victor was one fine motherfucker. Notes of amber, violet, mimosa, and wood from his Gucci Tears of Iris cologne filled the interior of the car, but not in an overpowering way. The scent lets you know that a man of means and power was in your presence. If he wasn't the leader of the Gonzalez cartel, Gray would have socked his ass in the throat. The cocky bastard hadn't even bothered to look at her once. Legs crossed, he continued reading the St. Louis Post-Dispatch as if she wasn't even there. Gray's eyes grew wide when she spotted a picture of Cam being wheeled out of the winery on a stretcher as front page news. Bile rose in her esophagus. She wished this wasn't her life, but it was, and in that moment she felt powerless to fix it. I'll keep this brief. Victor folded the paper back as it was. His deep voice sent chilling tingles down her spine. With ease, he placed the newspaper in the car seat bag organizer, then rested his crossed hands over his lap. I know you have pressing matters to attend to, so I'll make this quick. He continued to look ahead. I got word on Cam's condition. I'm sorry to hear he's in a coma. You must be worried with grief, but I know Cam. He's going to pull through this. In the meantime, me and my family will keep him in our prayers. If there's anything the kids need, I'm always a phone call away. He and his family will keep Cam in their prayers. If the kids need anything, I'm always a phone call away. Gray repeated in her brain. This motherfucker had balls of steel. Nowhere in his sympathies did he offer any for her. Seething with anger, Gray forgot her place and spat. My kids don't need shit from you, considering you're about to kill their mother. About to, Victor arched his brow. You talking past tense like the shit is over. See, that's where you got the game fucked up, sweetheart. Murdering you hasn't been taken off the table. You and I still have unfinished business. Victor's threat was like gasoline being poured over the butterflies in her stomach and being struck with a match. Fire brewed in her belly. It literally felt like her bones had no more strength. She thought that part of the nightmare was over. Did this nigga not have 1 ounce of a heart? He knew she had the weight of the world on her shoulders. This was the last thing she needed to deal with. The fact that Victor would even drop this shit on her pissed her off to the highest extent. You and I don't have shit. I know you have a hard time comprehending English, but I told you I didn't do it. Raising your voice won't change the situation. All roads still lead back to you. I still haven't been given concrete evidence that someone else was the snitch that set Cam up and brought the unnecessary attention to my organization. Millions of dollars were lost. And yes, your husband recouped my funds. But since that unfortunate day, the feds have not stopped poking their nose at my business. Somebody has to pay. But considering the circumstances, I'm going to do you a favor and give you an extension so you can provide proof on who sabotaged my business, since you claim it wasn't you. And how the fuck am I supposed to do that? My husband is in a fucking coma. My kids are suffering. I'm suffering. Every second of the day that he's not awake, I feel like I'm dying. I don't have time to play fucking Nancy Drew. Great quipped on the verge of tears. She slit her own wrist, though, before she shed a tear in front of this heartless motherfucker. Well, if you want to live, I suggest you get creative. I would hate to see you in the same position as your husband. I don't think Aoki is ready to be the matriarch of your family. Gray clutched her chest, unable to breathe. The wind had literally been knocked out of her lungs. The mere thought of her children losing their mother and father was too much for her to bear. How much time do I have? She damn near choked on her words. You'll know when your time is up. Victor picked a piece of invisible lint off his pants. How? She whipped her head in his direction. When your ass is dead. Victor tried not to chuckle, but a slight grin graced the corner of his lips. Gray didn't find a motherfucking thing funny. This was her life on the line. She didn't want to die. Her life was too precious to give up now. The funny thing about life is it pushes you until you break just to see if you can put yourself back together again. In the past, Gray was able to come out of the corner swinging. There wasn't anything life could throw at her that she couldn't conquer. She gotten through being abandoned by her father, raped, assaulted, cheated on, losing her mother, losing her baby, and heartbreak. This, however, was a whole different demon. Without Cam, pieces of her lay scattered about in broken fragments. There wasn't a glue on the market that would piece her back together. To make it through this, the sweet, gentle Gray would have to disappear. In order to survive, she'd have to morph into Cam, a human with a monster mask. Both of their lives are on the line. Gray would be damned if one of them didn't come out of this nightmare alive. If Victor was gonna have her on a wild goose chase to find the snitch, then she'd have to put on her big girl panties and tap into her inner Inspector Gadget. The rest of the ride was met with silence. Victor gazed out of the window, completely unmoved by her panicky state. This was the part of the game that he'd once hated but became numb to. Over the years, he'd been betrayed more times than he could count. Family members and friends instantly turned to foes. Victor couldn't trust anyone. Sometimes he didn't trust his damn self. If he wasn't who he was, he would be compassionate towards Gray and her situation. But when you are a don of a cartel, there was no room for empathy. You had to be morally bankrupt. For all he knew, Gray could really be the op. He had to keep her at arm's length. Being the hand of God came with a lot of pitfalls, and this was one of them. In order to make it home alive each night, it was a must his guard stay up. This was something that civilians like Gray would never understand. Victor could only have a heart for his wife and children. Everyone else was up for grabs. When the car turned into the hospital, Gray quickly grabbed her purse. The rolls hadn't even come to a full stop when she pulled the handle and got out. She couldn't get away from Victor fast enough, but like before, her name was called and she was halted in her steps. This time, she didn't turn around. She'd given Victor enough of her attention. Don't even think about running, he spoke cryptically. You won't make it to the gate at the airport. Trust me, he warned. And with that being said, he drove off. A mixture of anger and dread filled every crevice of Gray's tense body. This was not how she envisioned this day going. First, she had to deal with ending things with Noon. Then it was mentally accepting she wouldn't see her kids until God knows when. Victor threatened her existence was the straw that broke the camel's back. A crushing pain started to pang on the side of her head. Gray's body was pleading for rest. She hadn't been to sleep in 24 hours. Her eyes stung with exhaustion, but she sleep when Cam awake. One foot in front of the other, she walked down the long hallway. The sole of her sneakers squeaked against the shiny, pristine tile floor. Gray took in the hospital decor. The ceiling was made from those polystyrene squares and placed like a grid-like frame. Elegant commercial prints decorated the wall. Above each door that Gray passed was a large plastic sign with black lettering. Fancy fonts weren't necessary, just bold letters written in all caps. By the time she reached Cam's room, Gray had a full-blown migraine. She just needed to close her eyes for 1 second, but that second would never come. When she walked in and found Dr. Waters talking to Cam Sr., Mo must have been, I'm sorry, when she walked in, she found Dr. Waters talking to Cam Sr. Mo must have been in the restroom because her seat was empty. The only sign she was still there was the YSL purse left behind. Cam lay unconscious with a tube down his throat. Wires glued to his tattooed chest peeked out from the neck of his hospital gown. The breathing machine he was hooked up to made his torso rise and fall. An IV was stuck in the vein of his right hand. Cam looked as helpless as she felt. No matter how much time passed, Gray would never get used to seeing him in such a vulnerable state. Miss Parkins, I'm so glad you're back. I was just updating your father-in-law on your husband's condition. Has he gotten any better? She asked with bated breath. Her heart swelled with hope. She needed good news like a crackhead needed a good hit. Regrettably, he hasn't. Things are still how they were when you left. Gray bit her bottom lip before the tears that threatened to fall could escape. Despite her disappointment, she forced a smile and held her purse close. Her legs felt like they were going to give out on her at any second, but unlike in the past, Cam wasn't there to catch her. Thank God Mo was there. Behind her, Gray could hear her flush the toilet and wash her hands. Gray couldn't wait to leap into her arms for a hug. After the morning she had, she needed a hug like she needed air to breathe. Mo, she went to speak her name, but her throat closed when she spotted Devin coming out of the restroom instead of her sister-in-law. Devin stood in all her wicked glory, shooting Gray the evilest grin she could muster. If she had a camera, she would have snapped a pic and framed it. Gray's mouth had literally dropped down to her double chin. The sheer look of shock and horror on her face was priceless. There would never be another moment like it. Pleased with herself, Devin brushed past Gray slightly, bumping her shoulder along the way. Gray closed her mouth. If she didn't collect herself immediately, there was no telling what she might do. Hate burned in her heart so deep that it was ingrained in the tissue. This bitch was trying Gray's life. She couldn't have seen right. She had to be hallucinating. It was the lack of sleep that had her seeing things. No way was this skank cunt hoe in her husband's hospital room prancing around like she belonged there. I know damn well Gray scoffed on the verge of laughing. It was all she could do. Her head throbbed so much. Squeezing her eyes shut, she willed the pain to go away. But after coming face to face with Devin, the pounding only increased. This ain't happening. I know damn well I'm tripping. This is all a mirage. Any minute I'm going to wake up and realize this is all a bad dream. Because I know damn well this bitch ain't in my fucking husband's hospital room. She whipped around and threw down her purse. You love throwing that husband word around like it means something. Devin ran her hand across. Devin ran her hand across Cam's forehead lovingly. Number one, this ain't no dream. This is reality. She glared at Gray. I'm here and I'm not going no fucking where. Number two, you and Cam are strictly married on paper. Ain't shit real about that sham of a marriage. You know what's going to be real? When I stick my foot so far up your narrow ass, these doctors won't be able to get it out. Gray charged towards her only to be stopped by Dr. Waters. Collecting herself, she inhaled deep. I'm not going to even get myself hyped up to argue with you. Get your shit and get the fuck out, Gray ordered. Flipping her 40-inch Peruvian weave over her shoulder, Devin pranced over to the chair where her YSL purse was, picked it up, and placed the chain strap on her shoulder. Gray let out a sigh of relief that she was heeding her warning and leaving. Pushing Dr. Waters' hand off of her, she pushed her hair from her face and straightened her shirt. Instead of walking out, Devin looked Gray square in the eyes and slowly sat down in the empty seat. Make me leave. She cocked her head to the side and arched her perfectly shaped brow. Oh, you think this a game? Gray picked up her purse and threw it at her head like she was a pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. Quick on her feet, Devin dipped to the side and dodged the throw. All of Gray's belongings went flying out of her bag and onto the floor. Have you lost your cotton picking mind? Cam Sr. shot indignantly. Don't you see my son laid up in here in a coma? This is not the time nor the place for your Jerry Springer foolishness. Both of you need to act like adults. Now I don't know who this young lady is, but I expect more from you, Gray. You're somebody's mother, for God's sake. Put your emotions to the side and put my son and your family first. Flabbergasted, Gray drew her head back. Old head, are you dumb? I always put my family first. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for you. Caught off guard by her swift and savage comeback, Cam Sr. turned back around and situated himself in his seat. Grace stalked over to him and placed her lips next to his ear. What she said next was for him and his ears only. I know all about you, Cat Daddy, so tread lightly, because I have had just about enough of you. It's because of me you're even sitting here. Don't forget you're occupying that seat. Your so-called son wouldn't even want you 5 feet near him. Standing erect, she focused her attention back on Devin. And you, whatever you and my husband had going on is a wrap. Wifey's home. Your time is up. So let me explain how this is going to go. You can keep that cheap-ass condo he bought you and all the other miscellaneous bullshit that adds up to nothing compared to what he's done for me. Gray, Devin yawned. The only thing that needs to be wrapped... The only thing that needs to be a wrap is your fat ass body and your horrible eating habits. Diabetes is knocking on your door, bitch. I'm gonna be here forever. I know it hurts, but don't get mad because your husband, she made air quotes, chose me. Bitch, Gray tried to get at her again, but was held back by Dr. Waters. Security, he yelled. He never chose you, Gray continued on. You are a warm hole for him to roll over and slide into. None of these niggas ever loved you. Guns didn't want you, and neither does my husband. You are nothing but Cam's cum bucket. You're pathetic. You like to trap niggas with fake babies and orgies. Ain't nobody wiping your nasty ass. You are one fuck wonder with a Forever 21 name tag, and you can't even hold on to that. Ain't that motherfucker going out of business? Do yourself a favor, sis. Stop embarrassing yourself and bow out gracefully, because you're going to lose to me every time. Then you're going to lose to my kids, and 2 of them ain't even his. So what that say about your significance in his life? You have none, bitch. Gray curled her upper lip as 2 security guards stormed in. Security, I need you to escort this deranged, loose pussy, minimum wage making, wide forehead having, Pornhub aspiring side bitch out my fucking husband's room, and make sure that she is banned and not to return under any circumstances. If I catch this bitch within 20 feet of his room, I will be pressing charges against this hospital and its rat-faced hole. She can't do that, can she? Devin panicked. She's his wife. She has final say. We're going to have to ask you to leave, ma'am. One of the guards grabbed her by the arm. You ain't got to put your hands on me. I could walk by myself, Devin exclaimed, trying to pull away from the guards, but the hole was too tight. But the hole was too tight. Hurry up, Gray yelled. You're moving too slow. Get your dusty ass out of here. Fuck you, bitch. This shit ain't over. I hope you die from high cholesterol, you fat belly now. You fat belly, no neck having ass bitch. This fat bitch got the ring, though. Gray stuck out her tongue and threw up the middle finger. Retarded hoe. You got your nerve sitting up here shaped like a Build-A-Bear. Bitch, you bad body, you tired and you through. She slammed the door in Devin's face. Forehead pressed against the cool wood of the door. Gray steadied her breathing. The spike in adrenaline, lack of sleep, headache, and no food had her feeling faint. How was she going to make it through all of this sane, let alone alive? It seemed like an impossible feat. The saying goes, God doesn't put you through anything you can't handle. Gray wondered how true that was. The devil was busy wreaking havoc. He was working overtime to kill and destroy everything good in her life. He knew she was in a vulnerable position spiritually and mentally, so he took it upon himself to attack every area of her existence. It was only day 1, and the score was the devil 1 and Gray 0. With the weight of the world on her shoulders, she pulled her head off the door and turned around and looked at Cam. More than ever, she needed him to awake, but this time he wouldn't be there to save her. Gray had to save herself and him all alone. And that's chapter 3. What y'all think? Love it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, see that. Girl, them comebacks was on point. I love the direction you're going. Thank you. First of all, you didn't have to snatch our wigs like that. Gray for the shits. What an event. Bravo. Loved it. Wifey's home. Wifey's home. This is so intense. Gray is about to get in formation. Yes, God. Yeah, I told y'all was about to see a whole new Gray. The way you've been rising my blood pressure, I think you need to read your books on audio. Audios are coming soon. Devin would have caught a pan to the forehead. I'm loving this constant hype. Like, damn, this shit going in. Just barely tuned in. I love what I heard. Thank you. Great finally straightened that spine. She surely is, child. Just put Noon and Devin together. We really be ready to fight fictional people. Child, you have no idea. Scandalous. Victor is not playing. He sure is not. Great finna shut everything down. Love it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, last chapter from the book until it drops. Y'all will be able to come back and hear chapter 2, 3, and 5 whenever you like. This video will be up on my channel and chapter 1. Because like I said, the book is nowhere near finished, but we're making progress. I will say I'm so excited for you guys to read this book when y'all understand everything that me and my team have been working on. It'll all make sense. This book is so special to me. We're changing things up. We're doing things differently. I got a ton of surprises for you guys, and I can't wait to be able to talk about everything with you guys. Just remember that. Okay, so chapter 5. This is an Aoki chapter. And the song lyric is Cupid Hit a Bullseye by Selena Johnson featuring Common, the song Bullseye Suddenly. So we got the sky blaze a vibrant shade of light blue and the sun was a festival of yellow as Aoki and her girls strolled leisurely down 22nd Street. Like always, it was popping on the block. The elders sat on the porch fanning themselves and drinking sweet tea while all the kids ran up and down the street chasing each other with water guns. Aoki's own brother and sisters played in front of Aunt Vicky's house as she sold plates to the neighborhood killers, scammers, and thieves. For the past week, the entire Parthens clan had been coming over while Kima went to work from 3 to 11 p.m. Quan hustled all times of the day and night, so it was a must they be somewhere there was adult supervision. Aoki thought she was old enough to watch the little kids, but Kima and Quan thought different. If they would have known Aoki and crew would still be there after the wedding, they would have went to summer camp along with Lil Quan, Makai, Ryan, and King. No one could have foreseen the unfortunate events that occurred at the wedding happening. It was a blessing in disguise that Kima and Quan had planned their honeymoon for the fall. No, it wasn't home, but Aoki liked being at Aunt Vicky's house. She didn't mind being there at all. There was always good food, somebody getting their hair braided, bomb-ass music, and fine niggas coming on and off the block. Even with all that going on, she would much rather be at the hospital with her mom and Cam. Aoki was worried sick about him. Cam was no longer the annoying man who married her mom on a whim. He became her friend and most importantly, her dad. She giving him the blues when he first came into her life. Then in her mind, Gray had broken. It wasn't until Gunn swore to be there for her no matter what and went back on his word that she finally saw him for the inconsiderate man he was. He didn't give a fuck about her. Gus didn't even try to have a relationship with her little sister Press, who was his biological daughter. Once he had his son, his namesake with the whore he cheated on her mother with, they quickly became a distant memory. Despite being in jail, Cam made it his business to be present in their life. There wasn't a birthday or holiday that went by where he didn't make sure he had a personalized gift from him sent. When he got out of jail, he invested all of his energy into making up for lost time. Cam was the perfect dad. He was extremely hood but sweet. He didn't take shit from anyone but was always there showing love in his own special way. He allowed Aoki to be who she was without trying to change her. He taught her right from wrong and encouraged all her hopes and dreams. He was funny as shit and would beat a nigga's ass in a minute. Yes, he was a menace to society. There were more people that feared him than loved him, but to his family, he was a hero. Aoki didn't know what she would do without him. If he didn't pull through, she'd surely lose her shit. She never had her biological father, and she already lost the only father she'd known the first 10 years of her life. She couldn't lose another. Cam was all she had left. It had been hard enough knowing he was stuck in a coma and wouldn't wake up. Aoki was dealing with the news the best she could, but Press and the triplets were a completely different story. Press wouldn't stop crying, and the triplets asked for him nonstop. It was truly heartbreaking. They missed their daddy, and Aoki couldn't blame them. She missed him terribly too. Usually when she felt low, she'd have her mother to lean on, but Gray might as well have been in a coma herself. She was good to no one. The last time she seen her mother, she looked as sickly as Cam. The sparkle that used to glimmer in her mother's crystal blue eyes had dimmed. In the movie The Notebook, Noah and Allie died just minutes apart because they couldn't survive without the other. Aoki had always thought that to be some kind of made-up fiction until she saw the deep-rooted love between her parents. Love like that didn't come often. It was a once-in-a-lifetime fairy tale, otherworldly type love. Aoki prayed to Beyonce and Blue Ivy. She never experienced something so intense. She never wanted to love a nigga so much she died she lost him. After her unrequited crush on Priest, she learned her lesson. Yes, she still wanted to gag on his dick. But it was apparent he wasn't checking for her. She was 13 and he was 23. She never had a chance in hell of bagging him. But as soon as she was legal, she was coming at him pussy first. Besides, he was too busy running in behind Britton's bobblehead ass to notice her. With both of her parents out of commission, Aoki felt empty and lost. For the sake of her younger siblings, she had to keep it together, but being strong came at a price. She had no one she could turn to when she wanted to vent out her frustrations. When she needed to cry or express her worries, there was no one there. She had to bottle that shit up and deal with herself. She couldn't let her mother, Press, or the triplets see her upset. Aoki had to keep on a strong face for the sake of everyone else. Gratefully, she had Princess Gaga and her new friend Kiara to kick it with and take her mind off things. Aoki needed to be around girls her age. Kiara was 16, but that was neither here nor there. Being around toddlers and a fourth grader was not that deal. That afternoon, they broke out and made their way to the Arab store for drinks and snacks. Kiara and Princess were trying to be seen by the local doughboys on the block. Well, Princess was checking for chicks and dicks, but that was none of Aoki's business. Love was love in her eyes. Normally, Aoki's hot ass would be right on board with her friend's shenanigans, but that day the heat pushed in, making her feel claustrophobic. Aoki hadn't even been outside 5 minutes and she already wished she would have changed. Living in Paris the last 3 years, she forgot how boiling hot the summers in St. Louis could be. It was 98 degrees and she was foolishly dressed in a black crop sweatshirt with the word kisses written on the chest, a plaid print skirt that was made to look like a button-up shirt wrapped around her waist, and black pointed-toe Alexander Wayne booties. Thank God she wore her 30-inch sandy brown hair in a French braid to the back. She would have surely burnt up if all of her hair was down. It was far too muggy and hot for that shit. Aoki was in dire need for her new favorite drink called a quarter water. They were literally 25-cent flavored drinks. The concept blew her mind. With the amount of money Quan gave her each day, plus the emergency debit card her mom laced her with, she could buy as many quarter waters as her heart desired. Going to the Arab store was like going on a wild adventure. You could get soda, chips, candy bars, alcohol, fruit, vegetables, meat orders, fried chicken, cheese fries, cigarettes, backwoods, money orders, cash a check, play the lotto, buy lashes, and cop a fake Gucci t-shirt. It was one-stop shopping at its finest. There were always crackheads and corner boys that worked for Cam standing around out front. A couple of prostitutes even worked the area. To make matters worse, somebody had gotten stabbed on the lot the day before. Considering she was raised in the lap of luxury, Aoki fit right into the rough environment. Nobody ever tried her, not even Demaya. They crossed paths a few times, but since the ass whooping Aoki laid on her, Demaya had morphed into Ray Charles. She acted like Aoki didn't even exist, which was fine by her. She had bigger things to worry about than Demaya's trot mouth ass. She'd gotten a few side eyes from a few chicks, but bitches do not have to come outside their face. Niggas too. Hell, Aoki could barely get a nigga to glance twice at her. Everyone was too afraid of Cam and Quan's wrath to step to her. That didn't stop the neighborhood dope boys from getting on Princess and Kiara. Princess, who was 5'4", Chinese with brunette hair, slanted eyes, and full lips, was down for the attention. But Kiara, the young Miami lookalike, was already taken. She and her boo thing, Michi, had been together a year, and homegirl was dangerously in love. Since they left the house, she'd gone on and on and on about him. Aoki tuned out most of her gushing until she started talking about the last time they smashed. Girl, I had that nigga's toes curling. He was moaning like a little bitch. Kiara bragged, sticking out her tongue. Niggas be acting so hard but turning to straight beauticians when you sucking they dick. They be putting your hair up in ponytails and shit. I was like, nigga, when you learn how to do a top knot? So how long do you stay down there when you do it? Princess whispered as if someone might overhear. It depends. If I'm really into it, 30 to 40 minutes. See, I'm too lazy for all that. When I do start giving head, I'm a Black China the dick and just later. her wrist. This conversation is too NC-17 for my burglar ears. Aoki screwed up her face. You just mad that Priest won't knock the cobwebs off that pussy, Kiara teased. Ew, he bet not, Princess curled her upper lip. Have you not seen Surviving R. Kelly? My girl will not be the next Azriel Clary. Aoki couldn't help Aoki couldn't help but hold her stomach and laugh. Even if Priest wanted to be on some creep shit, he'd never get the opportunity to. Cam would shoot him between the eyes if he ever crossed the line with her. I just want to know what y'all waiting on. When you gonna let a nigga hit? Well, Princess, in your case, a nigga hit or a female lick. My daddy's raised me right. Princess put her hand on her hip and rolled her neck. This pussy don't come for This pussy don't come for free. Ain't no boy or girl my age can afford a Birkin bag. So until then, this cootie cat is off limits. She patted her puss. Period. Aoki swiped her hand under her neck. How long you been fucking anyway? Since I was 12, Kiara answered proudly. Damn, your vagina done been through some shit. Princess tuned up her face. Fuck you, Kiara playfully hit her arm. What about you, Aoki? When you gonna bust it wide open? Girl, sex is not on my radar. All I care about is my pops getting better. Any update, Princess asked? I talked to my mom this morning and nothing has changed. Aoki's eyes misted with tears. She hated being all weak and shit, but it was Cam she was in her feelings over. He was the dad she always wanted. God had to work his magic and bring the big homie back to her and her sisters and brother. I'm sorry, friend. Kiara wrapped her arm around her shoulder. Aoki leaned into her one-armed hug. She and Kiara had known each other that long, but as soon as they met, they clicked. Kiara lived only 2 blocks over from Aunt Vicky and was always down with the shits. The day Aoki fought Demaya, Kiara was right there ready to knock a bitch out if anybody jumped in. Although they were 3 years apart in age, no one could tell. Because of her 5'7" height, Aoki easily passed for being 17. I know we just met, but I hate seeing you so fucked up behind your old dude being sick. That should be tearing me up for real. Thanks, Key. Aoki returned the embrace. Me too, friend. Princess rubbed her back. Plus, your daddy gotta make it. He on my bucket list of niggas I gotta fuck before I die. Kiara boasted, scrolling through Instagram. Kiara, don't make me punch you in the throat, Aoki warned. What? You know your daddy fine? Cam can't get it, Princess agreed. I'm gonna fuck both of y'all up. Aoki pushed them both away. I ain't Demaya. I will Kung Fu Panda your ass. Oh, hell nah. Kiara paused dead in her tracks. What? Aoki looked over her shoulder. Look. Aoki gazed down at her phone. Apparently, Michi was up to no good again. He liked the girl Kiara had accused him of cheating on her with Pitt. I'm going to beat his ass. She quickly dialed his number. By the third ring, he answered the FaceTime looking high as a kite. High in all, Michi was fine as hell. Mad girl stayed on his dick. He was a young get money nigga with platinum blonde locks, round brown eyes, and a slim build and tattoos. He stayed dripped in blue and the latest hottest sneakers. He and Kiara made a cute couple, but because of his street status, he wouldn't stop putting his dick in other females. This what we on today? Kiara arched her brow, tapping her foot. Hi, Michi. How you doing? Oh, I'm good. He mocked. You done? Or you? I haven't even gotten started. She shot back. That's the problem. You always on that bullshit. And you always on that bitch page. What bitch? Yara, that bitch. Man, ain't nobody thinking about that girl. He took a pull from the blunt hanging out the side of his mouth. Lies. Every day I catch you on her page liking shit. And it's just a pic. You act like you pay my bill or something. I don't give a fuck if the Pope paid your bill. I'm your girl and what you're doing is hella disrespectful. What if I liked another nigga pic? Lose all your fingers if you want to. See, you full of shit. If you would stop barking at a nigga, that monkey could be full of this dick. I wish I would. Fuck you. Quit fronting. You love this dick. Put your pussy on the phone. I miss it. He smirked, licking his bottom lip. Oh, I hate you. Kiara narrowed her eyes. That's cool. I still love you. You don't love me if you looking at another girl's page. You got all of this. Kiara ran her hand down her shapely body. You don't need to look at another bitch. You right. All I need is you, Ma. Then why you looking at another girl's page? Because these hoes be thick. Michi blew out a cloud of weed smoke. Appalled by his response, Kiara gasped for air at the end of the call. Michi had her all the way fucked up. It pissed her off even more to see Aoki and Princess bugging up. That shit ain't funny, she pouted. Yes, it is. Aoki cried, laughing. I put that on my mama next time I see him. I'm fucking him up. Kiara sent his incoming call to voicemail. Girl, bye. You ain't gonna do shit but grin all up in his ugly ass face. Princess twisted her lips to the side. Y'all are crazy. Aoki wiped the tears from her eyes. She needed that laugh more than she knew. That's his ass. He get. Aoki, watch out. Princess yelled. By the time she looked up, it was too late. A tall, skinny figure came barreling around the corner, charging towards her at full speed. Kiera and Princess had enough time to move out the way, but she didn't. The boy slammed into her. Everything after that happened in slow motion. Aoki flew backwards and landed on her back. The impact of the fall was like being hit by a linebacker. All the wind was knocked out of her lungs. The back of her head bumped against the pavement, causing her to see stars. When her sight came into focus, the boy was on top of her, gazing into her eyes. The lyrics to Isla's hit song Juice came to mind as she gazed back at him. I wasn't looking for you when you came along. When you came in, where did you come from? Like out the sky into my life. You just dropped out the sky. You just fell into my lap. You just crashed into my life. Run that shit, run it back. Outside of Priest, he was the handsomest nigga she'd ever been blessed to see. He had the kind of face that made your pussy cream on sight. Aoki's little panties were filled with juices she didn't even know she could produce. Her skin tingled from his firm chest being on top of hers. She'd never been this close to a boy before, but this was no boy. He was older than her. How much older she didn't know, but he was out of her league. A blue Dodgers hat rested on his head, cocked to the back. A tattoo of a gun was inked in the corner of his forehead. A set of silky brows framed his diamond-shaped coffee-colored eyes. Although his skin was the shade of butter, his broad nose let her know his ancestors were straight from Africa. His full pink lips were outlined by a mustache and beard that Aoki wanted to run her fingers through. A collage of tattoos decorated his neck along with a trio of chains and a blue rag. This nigga was hazardous to her health, but Aoki had always been drawn to trouble. She was so caught up in her attraction to him that she couldn't find her voice, but when his weight became too much for her to bear, she snapped, "Get your big ass off me, dickhead." Aoki tried to push him off, but he was too heavy to move. "Watch where the fuck you going, Paris," Kiera yelled from behind. Paris ignored Kiera's loudmouth ass and shot the Blasian-looking bitch a menacing glare. Instantly, her slick talking ceased as she sealed her plump lips. The look he gave her told her she needed to shut the fuck up. Paris wasn't like most dudes his age. He didn't tolerate disrespect on any kind of level, whether it be male or female. He had no problem getting your ass together. Now that he had her in check, he focused all of his attention on the cutie line beneath him. He thought he knew every little bitch that ran around the neighborhood, but he'd never seen this beauty before. Even though she had a face of an angel and a mouth equivalent to an AR-15, she didn't look like she belonged. This girl looked like she should be walking the runway during Paris Fashion Week. Her tall frame and slender body rivaled the highest paid supermodel. Her statuesque frame wasn't what tugged at his heartstrings, though. It was her eyes. They were fucking mesmerizing. Her eyes were a rapturous shade of cerulean blue. They were emotionless and calm. Paris' stomach became heavy with need. Gorgeous wasn't even the word to describe her. She was outright stunning. She was a masterpiece. From her butterscotch complexion to her perfectly shaped nose, Cynthia Bailey cheekbones, a beauty mark above her heart-shaped lips, baby girl was the shit. She made feelings in other parts of him rise that he hadn't expected. At the same time, he and she looked down between them. Aoki's cheeks flushed hot when she realized his strong man was stabbing her in the thigh. Shooting her a cocky grin, Paris winked his eye and took off running when the sound of police officers who'd been chasing him footsteps neared. Dizzy with lust, Aoki's heart beat so erratically she thought it was going to fly out of her chest. The smirk Paris gave her was only a small smile, but it was enough to make her go back on her word. She didn't know who this nigga was, but she wanted to don his last name, birth his babies, cook him meals, and fall madly, deeply in love. It was crazy, but that quickly she wanted everything her mom and Cam had with him. She felt like a sucker for lusting after a nigga who almost knocked her soul out of her torso. But that quickly he'd cast a spell on her. Taking her by the hand, Princess helped her off the ground as two out-of-shape cops chased behind the boy who'd unknowingly stolen her heart. "Move, move, move," they yelled, wheezing past them. "You all right?" Princess examined her for cuts and bruises. "Yeah, I'm okay." Aoki dusted off her button legs. "Who the hell was that?" Paris badass Kiera rolled her eyes. "He get on my damn nerves." "How you know him?" "He's Michi friend from New York. He come down here every summer." "Oh, word?" Aoki said intrigued. Bitch. Kiera shook her head while wagging her finger. "Don't even think about it. Stay away from that one. That nigga right there will ruin your life, and I don't want your young ass crying to me when he do it." "I'm young, but I'm wise enough to know that you don't fall in love overnight." Aoki sang lyrics from the old school Brandy song, Broken Hearted. "Trust me, my mama didn't raise no fool. I know how to handle myself when it comes to the opposite sex. He's fine and all, but I ain't checking for no nigga on the run from the police. My standards are way higher than that." She professed with confidence, but it was all a show. Aoki knew damn well if this Paris guy ever stepped to her, he'd have her hook, line, and sinker. And that's it. Pow. Boom. And we're done. My throat hurt. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Cam gonna come out of a coma just to catch a heart attack. Child, if he survives, someone come get these kids. Yes, I want to give a disclaimer too. When y'all read this book and y'all read the Aoki part, I just want you to remember one thing. Yes, Aoki is 13, but as I stated, she looks and behaves older than she is. Aoki looks like she could be 16 or 17, and she behaves as such. Remember, Aoki been grown since y'all were introduced to her. At the age of 10, Aoki been grown her whole life. She's been put in adult situations, and she's grown up faster than girls her age. So remember that when you read Aoki's story, okay? Just want to put that out in the atmosphere when you're reading it, to keep that in mind. I can't wait for you guys to read the entire book. This is one of the most important books of my career because it's so highly anticipated. That's why I'm taking my time with it. And there's so much that has to be said and done in this last and final book. The only thing that I can give you guys outside of what you just that I just read you guys is that this book will be filled with a lot of shockers, a lot of death, love, births, breakups, laughter, hope, disappointment, friendship, families coming together and breaking apart, betrayals. Yeah. It's a lot. 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 I can't wait for you guys to, like I said, read the book, learn the title, see the book cover. It's so different from anything I've ever done before. Y'all thought Sicko Mode cover was sick. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. When y'all do learn the title of the story, it will all make sense. All of you have been wrong when it comes to what the title is. I can give you a hint that it has nothing to do with mode. The mode thing is done with, so it has nothing to do with mode. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to read it. Yeah. So far, my test readers can tell you they've been shocked, stunned. They've been crying a lot. They've been crying a lot. So if that gives you any hint of anything, yeah, and they've been swooning a lot. So there's a lot of swooning. So like I said, make sure y'all follow me on my Instagram page. Make sure y'all check my IG story every day for outfits, stories, teasers, all of that good stuff, music from the book, all of that. So get ready. On God is on the way for all of you aspiring authors, writers. This will be a how-to guide about how to write a book, as well as how to get published and what to do when you receive the contract, what happens after your book comes out, promoting, all of that stuff. I'm giving y'all insider's tea from all the things I personally went through in this industry. It's a funny book. It's not written like your regular, this is how you do it. It's basically like me talking to you in a book form and being very candid. I can't wait for you guys to read it. I'm working on this with my great friend, Sheridan, my sis. So yeah, I can tell you that much, that I have that coming out, Cam and Gray's final book. And then I'm also going to drop 2 short stories later on this year for free on Kindle Unlimited. They'll be very short stories, but it's something that I just want to do to give back to you guys as a thank you. So free projects that'll be like holiday themed short stories. That'll be later on this year. And then my last and final book for this year will be Fade to Black, which will be China's last and final book. I had to go back to China and finish out her story first before I go back to Dream, which is India's series, because as you know, when you guys read Dream, India was 21 years old. I forgot. So y'all missed 3 years of her life. So I need to go back to her mom's story. So a lot of the missing pieces of the puzzle of things that happened to her during those 3 years can be answered. So those things will be answered in Fade to Black. And then next year, we'll go back to Dream 2 and 3. So yeah, I can let you guys know for sure that next year, starting off, will be my new series. You know how we did First Wives Club. In First Wives Club, I did 3 different stories from my past older characters. Well, I'm creating a new series called Young, Gifted, and Black, which will be a series where I introduce the kids as adults. So that will be my first book to start off the year. And then at the second half of 2021, we will have Dream 2 and 3 coming out. I can't tell you guys that much. So you won't have a big wait. And then we move on from there. So gave y'all some insider tea because y'all know I don't like telling y'all about my releases. I like for y'all to be surprised. But yeah, I think that's everything that I can tell you guys without me ruining anything. But yeah, I'm really excited about this book. This book is really good. I'm really proud of the direction that it's going in. And I just got to tell y'all, when I normally tell y'all, expect the unexpected, y'all didn't believe me. But then when y'all read Sicko Mode, y'all saw I wasn't playing. And I can honestly say in this book to expect the unexpected. Y'all are not going to see a lot of shit coming. I got some big story plots popping off in this book. Oh, and another thing I want to reiterate before I go. When I ask you guys to take y'all time when reading my stories, I don't literally mean read slow. When I mean take your time, I say that because I drop a lot of jewels, a lot of Easter eggs that play out in the future and things in books to come. So there were things that y'all read in Dream that will be connected to this last book for Cameron Gray. If you've noticed, all of my books since Such a Fucking Lady have been linked to each other, where you have to read one to read the other. So you had Such a Fucking Lady, First Wives Club then led into Beast Mode and Sicko Mode. Then you had Dream, which is attached to Cameron Gray's story, as well as Fade to Black, which is China's story. So I always drop Easter eggs. So when I say read carefully, I give y'all hints of shit that's going to happen. That's what I mean by take your time, because a lot of you guys be so excited to read it. And don't get me wrong, I'd be so excited about you guys' excitement. But y'all speed read and y'all miss a lot of shit that kind of go over your head. Because, we'll talk about that later. I was going to say something. But anywho, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that was all I needed to say. Yeah, I think that was it. All right, y'all. This was so fun. I'm starving. I got to go eat dinner. This video will be up for you to watch later if you want to. Get excited. Get ready for Cameron Gray's final story. Who will live? Who will die? Will Cam make it? Will Gray die? Will Paris and Aoki get together? What in the hell is going on, Jesus? It's so much that's about to go down. What's going to happen to Guns? Get ready, you guys. It's so much shit that's about to pop off. Love you guys. Thank y'all for watching this video. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Like and subscribe to my channel. It's popping over here. Love you, love you, love you. And I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys.